Hello, friends. Welcome in today's session. Hope you all are doing well and staying safe where you are. In today's session, we are going to learn about components of health insurance. If you remember, last time we talked about and we have discussed about health insurance, we covered a few topics like what is health insurance, the kind or type of health insurance, private health insurance, government sponsored health plans, indemnity health insurance, managed care plans, the cost associated with the private health insurance, and how health insurance protects you from health and financial risks. That's what we discussed in our previous session. And if you want to go over that, you can go over this video that I have uploaded already there at YouTube channel that I have. So you can see over here, US Healthcare Business Analyst blogs. You can search it and then you can watch this session which talks about what is health insurance. In today's session, we are going to talk about components of health insurance, and this session is going to be very helpful if you watch this particular session which we did on what is health insurance. And if you see my channel, there are other sessions or other videos that are also uploaded here, which talks about introduction of US healthcare delivery system. Then we have talked about uh, various kind of providers we have, like in network, out of network providers. Then we have what is health insurance. So let's focus on today's session. And today's session talks about the components of health insurance. And I request you all to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you'll be notified with the latest updates, with the latest videos that we are going to upload there. So I request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done yet. Please do not forget to click on or hit on the bell icon, and please share your comments, feedback, and suggestions. Now, moving on to components of health insurance policy. So, as we know, health insurance policy is a legal contract between an insurance company and the owner of the policy. In this case, the member or the patient or us. The contract term is typically limited, and the policy holder must make payments, which is known as premiums, to keep their coverage active. This contract also details various conditions under which the insurance company will be responsible for the cost of the holder's medical care and possibly their families or the dependents that we say. A health insurance policy consists of various components. And what are those components? So they are as it is: insurance premium, deductible, co-pays, co-insurance, exclusions, coverage limits, out-of-pocket maximums, provider panels, pre-authorization, explanation of benefits, electronic remittance advice. Now, let's look into these components one by one. So let's talk about insurance premium. The health insurance premium is the fee that member or patient paid to secure coverage of the medical conditions and treatments described in the policy. An underwriting process sorts you into specific risk categories based on factors like age, gender, and medical history. Your premium amount is based on these factors, and it's intended to reflect the likelihood that you'll incur medical cost equal to or less than the amount you pay to the insurer. Underwriting is necessary to avoid adverse selection. Premiums are set high enough to deter those most likely to use the insurance and low enough to attract those least likely to use it. Underwriting ensures that those who purchase health insurance are a true cross selection of risk and don't only represent those who purchase health insurance because they're ill or expect to need it. Moving on, let's talk about the next component, which is copays. So copay is nothing but a fixed amount, like let's say $20, $30, $40, for example. You pay for a covered healthcare service after you paid your deductible. So when you go and visit a doctor clinic, you have to pay a certain amount of copay. So let's say your health insurance plan's allowable cost for a doctor's office visit is $100. So your co-payment for the doctor visit is going to be around $20. If you have paid your deductible, you pay $20 usually at the time of the visit. If you haven't made your deductible, then you may end up paying $100, the full allowable amount for the visit. Co-payments, sometimes called as copays, can vary from different services with the same plan, like drugs, lab tests, and visits to specialists. Generally, plans with lower monthly premiums here are going to have higher co-payments, Plans with higher monthly premiums usually have lower co-payments or co-pays. What are deductibles? Deductibles, health insurance usually requires that covered policyholder to bear a portion of the risk by paying initial medical cost up to an agreed amount before the health insurance kicks in for the payment. This amount is known as deductible. As the deductible increases, the premium decreases. So deductibles can be applied to individuals or family groups. For example, a policy might have $2,000 individual deductible and a $4,000 family deductible. In this case, the insurance company would pay an individual's medical claims when either the accumulated expenses for that individual exceeds $2,000 or the total family expenses exceeds $4,000, even though the total of number individuals claim equals to $2,000. So I'll just give you one basic example. Let's say your deductible is set as $500 and you go and see a doctor and you went through some surgery and then the doctor has filed a claim for, let's say, $1,000. So health insurance is not going to pay $1,000. First, you need to pay that $500 because your deductible is $500. Once you made the deductible, then health insurance kicks in and they start paying the rest of the amount. That's how deductible works. Co-insurance. So since deductible was a fixed amount, similarly, co-insurance is fixed percentage of amount. In order to share the risk and limit excessive utilization, insurers hold policy holders liable for an agreed upon level of expense, usually 80%. This limit is calculated after deducting any copay. For example, suppose John Doe has a cyst removed for a total cost of $2,500. After he pays a $50 copay, the insurance company pays 80% of the remaining $2,450, or we can say they pay around $1,960. So remaining John's share of the cost would be the copay $50 plus the remaining 20% of the amount after the copay $490. So his total cost out of pocket would be $540, where the insurance company paid around $1,960 and a member is going to pay $540. Exclusions. Health insurance policies do not typically cover all medical expenses. Non-covered expenses may be defined by medical conditions, type of treatment, or medical provider. For example, most health insurance don't cover elective cosmetic surgery such as facelifts, tummy tucks, or bariatric surgery, except on rare occasions. Policy holders remain 100% liable for any excluded treatment or expenses, and these expenses do not apply to the deductible amount defined in the policy. So this is all about exclusions. The next one is coverage limits. Health insurance is not open-ended. Insurance companies usually limit their liability by setting the maximum amount they will pay for medical cost. These limits typically run from, $500 to $1 million and maybe either lifetime, annual, or both. For example, you may have an annual limit of $100,000 and a lifetime limit of $500,000, $500,000. That means the insurance pays up to $100,000 in any 12 months period and covers total lifetime cost up to an accumulated $500,000. Once a limit is reached, the health insurance insurer ceases payments for the rest of that period, and the policyholder is responsible for paying any cost beyond that amount. Before you purchase a policy, it's very important to pay particular attention to the policy language to ensure coverage is adequate to meet your potential needs. Out-of-pocket maximums. The reverse of coverage limit. This component applies to the insured's maximum exposure for payment while the health insurance contract is in force. Once the out-of-pocket limit is reached, the insurance company pays all future covered costs up to the coverage limit. The copays and exclusions remain in effect. For example, if your out-of-pocket maximum is $3,000 annually, once you pay that amount, the insurance company will pay 100% of any additional covered expenses minus required copays. Provider panels. One of the biggest ancillary benefit of having a health insurance policy is the schedule of discounted fee payments negotiated between the insurer and the providers. In some cases, the amount you pay for a covered treatment may be 30 to 40% less than the provider's usual and customary fees. For example, a service that would cost uninsured patients around $1,000 could cost policyholders just only $300 to $400 or less. Each insurer negotiates a discount with providers based on the number of insurers, policyholders, and the projected utilization of the provider services. Physicians, hospitals, and other medical providers are categorized as either in-network or out-of-network. And you can go through one of the video which is present in my channel, which talks about what are the providers, who are the providers, different kind of providers like in-network, out-of-network providers. Uh, so what are in-network providers? In-network practitioners or providers provide the highest discounts. Insurance companies encourage policyholders to utilize in-network providers by covering all or majority of these providers' fees at negotiated rates. They may also reduce co-pays or co-insurance when policyholders use in-network providers. Out of network, physicians, practitioners, and medical providers who have not negotiated a preferred rate or minimal discounts are designated out of network. If you use an out of network provider, you may end up paying higher fees than for similar services provided by in-network provider. You may also incur a higher copay and higher co-insurance percentages. The next component of health insurance is pre-authorization. Very, very important. Pre-authorization is getting prior approval for a medical procedure or specialist visit. It ensures that the service or visit will be covered. Most insurers require pre-authorization before agreeing to cover a visit to a specialist. Pre-authorization doesn't guarantee a service will be covered. Instead, it confirms that the insurer intends to cover the service, pending review of the claim and determining whether the service was necessary. Many non-critical treatments require pre-authorizations, and it's usually the policyholder's responsibility to know if pre-authorization is required or not. Failure to get pre-authorization can result in a claim denial. It is important to pay special attention to the pre-authorization requirement when seeing a specialist at the recommendation of your primary physician or primary care physician. Many primary caregivers are in network but maybe unknowingly refer patients to an out-of-network specialist. In such cases, the patient is penalized with a higher expense and may have the claim denied entirely. Explanation of benefit, the next component of health insurance. Insurer generally sends an explanation of medical claims payment after it's adjudicated or approved. This explanation of benefits or EOB generally describes what was covered and what may have been excluded. It also outlines the final contracted fees for the service and the proportion of the fees paid by the insurance company and the amount which remains the patient's responsibility, and an explanation of how the various amounts were calculated. We should always review an EOB to determine whether the insurance company's payment matches your understanding of the policy. ERA, electronic remittance advice. A large number of claims are being processed in the healthcare industry daily. Processing these claims requires generating thousands of EOB statements regularly. However, manual processing so many claims are both tiring and time consuming. This means the chances of error in manual EOB are quite high and may result in incorrect payment posting. To resolve accounting issues, all hospitals nowadays are switching to ERA and HIPAA compliant. We say HIPAA 835, and we'll talk about what is HIPAA, what are these EDI transactions like 837P, 837I, 834, 835, 272, 277. We'll talk about all these EDI transactions and HIPAA in our upcoming session. And HIPAA compliant that allows storing payment information for medical billing purposes. An electronic remittance advice or ERA is an explanation from a health plan provider about a claim payment. And ERA explains how a health plan has adjusted claim charges based on factors like contract agreements, secondary payers, we say coordination of benefit coverages, expected co-pays, and co-insurance. This is all about components of health insurance. And in our next session, we are going to talk about things to consider while choosing the best healthcare plan. And then we are going to focus on government-sponsored plans, like what is Medicare, what is Medicaid. So there are a lot of things still we have to learn. And I request you to go through my videos, which is present in my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can send an email at thiskbinithrai@gmail.com if you have any questions, queries. Feel free to put your comments in the comments box in the in the video which we are uploading there. You can visit our website healthcarebusinessanalyst.com. You can read the blogs as well. And I want to show you here. So this is the website where you can visit and you can see um, about the, you can learn about healthcare business analysis training. And then you have these blogs where I upload or write various blogs time to time, and it's present over there. Also, if you want to download certain documents, that's present in the courses, training videos, and documents. You can download the documents from here. I try my best to upload documents as soon as possible. Uh, I encourage you, request you to come visit this website, read the blogs. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can watch the videos, provide your feedback and suggestion, write your comments in the comment box, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, queries. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for being patient. You stay safe. Take care. Thank you very much.